Hafaday! I'm Cami from our Nånas for our Nenis. So far, we've explored our island's food systems by visiting local food producers and organizations that advocate for food security. Today is a special edition where we follow a volunteer at Island Grow Power Community Garden and a frequent forager. Foraging is the identification and collection of plants in your surroundings. It can vary from places in the jungle and even in residential areas. Also, foraging is not stealing, if you do it right. So here are some things to remember about foraging practices. Number 1, ask permission. Consent is cool, not only to landowners but to the plants themselves and the spirits that may inhabit that area. Number 2, know your plants. Newcomers to foraging should take time to familiarize themselves with their plants. Eating any foods without being 100% sure it's safe can be dangerous. And finally, don't overharvest. Don't take more than you need or more than you're going to use. As with so many other outdoor activities and practices on our island, always remember to leave your surroundings as good or even better than the environment you left it. This is Falcon.
Hello!
He is a volunteer at Island Grow Power's community garden and is a frequent forager. Now, let's follow him as he forages his way to leading a food-sovereign lifestyle.
Now what I do is every day I eat from the garden. So I take this pair of scissors and this bowl and I go around and I pick my salad. And some things I'm going to cook and some things are going to be raw. So the first thing I do, I walk into the garden and I take a little bit of oregano. This grows really fast and you can take a cutting and stick it in the ground anywhere and it'll grow. And then I come over to the kangkong and I look around for leaves that are wanting to get cut. Look like there's a caterpillar eating them or somebody who's trying to have it for lunch. Then I say, okay, that's the one I'm gonna eat. If the leaf looks really good, then I leave it there because it's doing a good job. And this one's a weed. I haven't found a use for that yet. We're gonna compost these. And then we have, growing here, beans, which aren't ready yet. Marigolds to keep the bugs from eating our food. And this one is moringa. And malunggay is really, really tasty when it's nice and tender. It's a totally different experience when the leaf is small. If we want some basil, you don't want it to produce flowers if you want it to produce leaves. So you cut it back, you have 2 leaves. And now you've helped the plant produce more leaves and you've gotten some lunch. And then we go over here. This is the plot I've been working on. When the okra gets bigger, you can eat okra, but he's too small. You have to wait. You can take Thai basil with the same way of cutting the plant so that it can make a bush and you get some little leaves on the side. And then these ones we can compost that or we can keep it for seed to grow more basil. If we want a spring onion, we choose one that's looking like it's drying out. This is an older one. Then we have an old spring onion. If it looks good, then it's still young and it's helping the plant grow. We take our weeds, we put them in the compost pile. The most important part of a garden. And these are my favorite plants. These are amaranth. And all of these amaranths grew self-seeded. So I didn't do any work at all. I just woke up one morning and they were growing. I've been looking for the big leaves. The big leaves I cook. The small leaves you can eat raw. But the bigger ones I cut and I cook for like 1 minute or 2 minutes. When these seeds get to be older, you can have amaranth. But until then, you can have the leaves. And the male plant is really spiked. You have to be careful. And I can take a lot of those leaves. And there's an okra back in there. I'm gonna go get it. To get an idea of the scale of time, this garden is about 1.5 months old. This one is Malabar spinach and it's growing right out of the compost pile. So you don't even really need to work too hard, and he grew all by himself. You can cut the vine or you can choose again to cut the leaves that are already hurt. If they're already hurt, they're not as efficient for the plant. So you eat that one, but if the leaf is pretty, then leave that behind and it'll help the plant to grow.
Foraging is a practice that has existed on our island for thousands of years. Consult your elders, seek their guidance on the best picking practices, and do some research on the many foods that grow wild on our lands. Sejus Maasi for watching this episode of From Our Nånas for Our Nenis. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if there are any topics or any videos that you'd like to see in the future, make sure to comment.